Hello, everybody, and welcome back to TJ's Lego Room. And 100%, we are back in the Lego Room. Isn't that awesome? No longer on TJ's kitchen table upstairs from the Lego Room. We are in the actual Lego Room. Thank you so much to my wife for hooking me up with some equipment so that I could actually move back into the Lego Room to do my videos. This is really exciting. So, two things that we wanted to address today. Number one, back in the actual Lego Room from now on, which will be great. Number two, we hit 1,000 subscribers. There's 1,000 people in the world who want to see when I build a Lego set, or a mock in most cases. So thank you so much for everybody who subscribed. That's pretty awesome. I know it's not huge in the world today to hit 1,000 subscribers, but for me that is amazing to have 1,000 people who are interested in that. So thank you so much. You guys are awesome, and I'm gonna try to make it worth it. I'm gonna try to make your time worth it as we sit here. Today we're gonna be looking at the First Order high-speed tread tank. It originally started as a rebel / resistance tank, but that didn't quite work out. I changed it up a little bit, which happens sometimes. You kind of go where inspiration leads, right? So before we get too off topic, let's get into the video. So the HSTT, or high-speed tread tank, is a visual combination of a few different ships throughout the Star Wars universe. My son said it looked a little bit like the speeder from the concept art of The Force Awakens that you can see here, but I did not originally take from that. One of the ships I wanted to look like is the Imperial hover tank right here. And you can see it's got the forward slope. I guess a lot of tanks have that, but that's something I wanted to get in there really well. A few of the other ships and tanks that I took it from are the First Order Tread Speeder from The Rise of Skywalker, which was the original catalyst for it, but also the Separatist AAT, and just one detail that I stole from the Republic AT-TE. So the Imperial Hover Tank gave me those front forks idea where the treads would come out a little bit farther than the front and then have that slope. But the Tread Speeder is where I mostly got the idea to have the treads be a little bit smaller than half of the tank and have it look like it's actually off balance just a little bit. Now in this particular isometric view, it looks good. It doesn't actually look like anything particularly fancy, but when we zoom in just a minute here, you'll see that the center of balance is not anywhere near the treads, and I actually have to have a stand for it. So the First Order Tread Speeder has the short treads, has the elongated back end that you have to have repulsor lifts in order to actually have it float along the ground. This is my repulsor lift of sorts. I have a few of these clear bricks just holding it up near its center of gravity, a little bit behind to hold it up. But I do have my own repulsor lifts that I put on here. It's these spoiler pieces / shields / greebles that have been on a few other sets. I imagine that those are high-speed repulsor lifts so that it can travel fast and keep that turret steady. Now the front of this thing, like I said, the angle is from the Imperial hover tank from Rogue One. Wow, sorry about that. The windscreen, though, is really teeny, and there's a reason for that. Is because it's more of an emergency windscreen. As we open it up here and pull our First Order pilot out of there, he's a little bit more trained than the gunner. That's why he gets an enclosed cockpit and gets protected. But if we turn around and look down inside, we can see the console in here is actually from the AT-ST, I believe from the Rogue One set. But he mostly uses those controls and those screens to see out the front, and then the windscreen is used kind of a last-minute thing. As we put him in here, you can see the top is actually from the TIE Striker. Now, the treads are one of the most difficult parts for me and in building this set, and it all comes down to using a ton of gear pieces, and that gear piece is this guy right here. All said and done, I used 24 of those gear pieces, which I was surprised I had that many to begin with. I do have some off-colored ones snuck in there, but as you can see, I had to have 3 across at every pivot point. And I really wanted that angled look that you can get on modern day tanks, that they have that approach so that when they come up to an obstacle, they can go around it. And to get that so that the gears went just barely past each other was so hard, but we finally got it to work. Now, the cannon like I said, is an inspiration both from the AAT and the Republic ATTE. The AAT inspired the placement of the turret as well as how long the gun was going to be, and then the ATTE inspired the open air, wide visual range cockpit for the gun. You can see it lifts up and down just a little bit, not a ton, but it usually doesn't have to, and those pieces just fit together perfectly. I wish I could tell you which pieces that top one that rests is, but I can't. Somebody will do it in the comments for me. He's got a whole bunch of controls here so that he can get his targeting just right and control it at those high speeds, being able to two-hand the controls so that he can kind of balance himself and get locked right on the target. I really loved the profile of this thing and how it leans back. It's kind of an exaggerated AAT as well. Now, the pilot isn't completely defenseless. If the turret is aiming somewhere else, he does have these forward guns that he can just shoot straight forward and take out guys on his own if the gunner's taken out or something. Now, the red stripe that I put on here is actually inspired by one of my subscribers. He is Predator Gamer 1 is his tag there, and when he saw an all gray version of the ship, of the tank, he said, hey, you need to splash some color in there. I don't always like the gray, and while most Imperial and First Order ships like this are gray, why not? Now here's a rare peek here at the underside of one of my vehicles. A little treat for you. So we've got all 24 of those gears. You can actually count them on there if you want. But then we've got those 4 conduits there, which is another fun little design choice. I wanted to see if I could get the structure a little bit more supported, make it a little bit thicker without adding thickness to the look, without just adding plates. Now, big question is, does it drive? Yes, it does. Even with 24 of those gears, it actually still turns. Those chains for the treads actually still work just great. They are a little bit hard to move, and you do have to push down just a little bit harder than you probably would with a normal Lego set. You can actually see my my cloth bunching up, my background bunching up right there because I'm pushing down pretty decently. They do turn really well. I'm pretty happy, especially with how complicated it was to get those together, to get the wraparounds for the guns and everything, but we got there. So thank you so much for sticking around this long. Before you go, I wanted to point out one extra little detail. Right at the tip of the cannon there is a spool for a winch. It's a piece that I saw on a couple of online cannons that somebody had made for Star Wars, and I thought, you know what? That's pretty awesome. I'm going to see if I can make that work, and it kind of works, but it is probably the weakest point of the entire thing, even with all the hanging stuff. It really is. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for checking out TJ's Lego Room. I hope you enjoyed the high-speed tread tank, and we will catch you next time. Once again, for anybody who stuck around this long, thank you so much to my subscribers, the over 1,000 people now who want to see when I make a Lego. That's pretty awesome. Thank you again. You guys are great. And I am still working on the tutorials. I have the Mandalorian that is my first tutorial. I've been practicing. I think we've got a good system for you to help show you how to make that. So stay tuned. Hopefully that'll come out the first week of March. First week, early second week of March, maybe. I've got a vacation in there at one point, so we'll see what happens. But thank you again so much for checking it out, and we will catch you next time. Bye.